Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are stashing and we are cashing in on Dynasty value. We are stashing rookies today. These are 8 mustache rookies. Let's begin. Brashard Smith. You might have to draft him late in your rookie draft, especially if you have a 5-round rookie draft. He's probably going to get drafted. 4th round, he might get drafted in the 4th round, maybe late 3rd round, but I do think it's worth the pick here. He transitioned from wide receiver to running back this year at SMU. Sound familiar? Tyrone Tracy. Great athletic profile. If you look it up, obviously he ran the 4.39 40-yard dash at 5 feet 10, 194 pounds. That's good size adjusted speed. He's 22 years old, so he's not like 24 years old like RJ Harvey. Not that that really matters, but he's not old, not young. He's right where he should be in terms of age. Rushed for over 1,300 yards this year. Caught 39 passes, 18 total touchdowns at SMU. Mind you, this was his first year playing running back, and the tape was really good. When you turn on the film, he's very impressive, and PFF agrees. 91 offensive grade, 6th amongst all FBS running backs, 87.1 rushing grade, 26th amongst all college running backs, FBS running backs, and a 91.9 receiving grade, number 2 amongst all FBS running backs. And there's definitely a path for Brashard Smith to see the field right away. I mean, Pacheco's coming off of an injury, and he didn't really play that well when he came back from an injury. And I get it. You can argue, okay, well, he came back early to play for a playoff run. Sure, he's going to be the starter. Slot him in. But look at what's behind Isaiah Pacheco. It's Kareem Hunt. It's Elijah Mitchell. There isn't steep competition here. Sure, Kansas City might trust Kareem Hunt. Maybe they trust Elijah Mitchell maybe a little bit more than Brashard Smith right off the bat. But there's no doubt that Brashard Smith has more juice than those guys at this stage of his career. So I think Brashard Smith is absolutely worth a late round pick, and I'm stashing him all day long. Kyle Monangai, again, you're probably going to have to spend a late round rookie pick. Profile's not as good, but he reminds me of a guy who can fill the David Montgomery role in a Ben Johnson offense. Extremely productive in college, especially in his last 2 years. Over 1,200 rushing yards, 8 touchdowns in 2023, 13 touchdowns in 2024. PFF numbers aren't very good. I mean, he was 123rd in offensive grade, 146th in rushing grade, but number 2 amongst all college running backs in protecting the football. He did not fumble. The one knock on him is he isn't much of a pass catcher, only 14 receptions last season. But this is a talented player in a backfield in Chicago with DeAndre Swift and Roschon Johnson and not much else behind him. So he could absolutely earn a role in year 1 right away. The last guy we're going to talk about that was actually drafted, because the rest of these guys are going to be undrafted players. Oronde Gadsden II from Syracuse. Decent profile as a tight end. 4.72 40-yard dash. Above average burst and speed for a guy his size. And he was productive. I mean, if not for the Liz Frank injury in 2023, we might be singing a different story about Oronde Gadsden, because in 2022, 969 receiving yards, 61 touchdowns, 25.7% target share. Then he was hurt. And then this year, right back on the horse, 922 receiving yards, 72 receptions. Target share was a little bit down, but the Syracuse offense was better with Kyle McCord slinging the rock back there. Gadsden goes to a situation in Los Angeles where the only tight ends that are ahead of him now are Will Dissly and Tyler Conklin. PFF agrees with the film analysis that I've put forth. I think the tape is really good. He was number 13 amongst all college tight ends in PFF's offensive grade and number 16 amongst tight ends in receiving grade. And like we said, the situation couldn't be better. Let's move to the undrafted portion and the real meat of the matter here. Guys that are probably going to go undrafted in your rookie drafts. Xavier Restrepo. Yes, I am stashing Xavier Restrepo. I know I'm going to get accused of telling people to add roster cloggers. I do not think Xavier Restrepo is a roster clogger. How the mighty have fallen. Restrepo was once projected to be a day 2 pick in the NFL draft. He fell to being undrafted, but he did fall into a decent position. The Titans did draft 2 wide receivers ahead of him, Elijhah Badger and Chimere DK, I'm probably saying that wrong, but the rest of the Titans wide receivers are either old or uninspiring. Calvin Ridley is the number one wide receiver, followed by Tyler Lockett and Van Jefferson. It isn't crazy to think that Restrepo could find a way onto the field this year if things break his way. And let's not forget what he was able to do in college. These past 2 seasons at Miami in 2023, 1,092 yards, 6 touchdowns. In this past season, 1,127 yards, 11 touchdowns. And yes, he was a fifth-year senior, but you know who else was a fifth-year senior last year? Was Ricky Pearsall. And there's no doubt that Restrepo plays a lot faster than his 40 time would suggest. Just go turn on the tape, and PFF agrees. Restrepo ranked number 23 in PFF's receiving grade amongst all FBS wide receivers at 83, just a touch behind Emeka Egbuka and Jack Besh, who were selected in rounds 1 and round 2. Marcus Yarns. I've been talking about Marcus Yarns for a long time now, and the Saints backfield is very top-heavy with Alvin Kamara leading the way. After that, your guess is as good as mine as to who earns the RB2 reps. The favorite is probably Kendre Miller, but would it shock you if 6th-round pick Devin Neal plays some, or if newly signed Clyde Edwards-Helaire gets some time? The team also signed Velus Jones, and yes, Marcus Yarns was added to their roster as an undrafted free agent. Yarns has a very good athletic profile and produced good, not great numbers at Delaware. And he's exactly the kind of fantasy running back that I look to add. Great speed, great burst, good ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. Multiple years with over 20 receptions in 2022 and 2023. The receiving was down this year, only 17 receptions in 2024. But according to Ron Stewart, and I'll shout out Ron Stewart, who's been putting out some good content and putting out some good tweets, Marcus Yarns ranks among 25 drafted RBs in 2025 as an undrafted free agent, 3rd in receiving PPR per snap, tied for 4th in yards after contact per attempt, 5th in chunk rate, and 6th in breakaway run rate. He's a talented player that should have been drafted a lot higher. Take advantage, and I think he's got an opportunity to see some playing time in 2025. Yes, I'm going to be talking about another wide receiver, but this wide receiver is incredible, and I think he has talent that can definitely translate to the NFL, and that would be Elijhah Badger, 6'1", 200 pounds, 4.43 speed, and he was asked to do a variety of things in college. He played for Arizona State, transferred to Florida, and Arizona State, a lot of run after the catch stuff. The yards per attempt wasn't nearly what we saw in Florida. So he was successful at both places. If you look at the stats in Arizona in 2022, 866 receiving yards, 7 touchdowns, 12.4 yards per reception. That was down in 2023, 11 yards per reception in 2023, and in 2024, 20.7 yards per reception, 806 receiving yards, and 4 touchdowns. This is a athletic wide receiver that winds up in Kansas City. And when you look at the depth chart at wide receivers, Xavier Worthy, we know he's going to play a lot. Hollywood Brown, they signed just a 1-year deal. Rashee Rice, there's some uncertainty about, his suspension that's looming. Sky Moore, they did draft Jalen Royals in round 4. Juju Smith-Schuster is there. But outside of those players, Elijhah Badger has a chance to make this team. And if he does, man, that would be exciting to put his versatility on display with the Kansas City Chiefs. And PFF agrees with the evaluation that we had of him watching the film. He's number 11 in PFF's receiving grade amongst the 2025 class of wide receivers, right behind Tetairoa McMillan, who ranked number 10. Raheim Sanders, we're going back to the running back position. Interesting profile. He's big and he's fast. And the speed score is off the charts, 6 feet tall, 217 pounds. And what's interesting about him is he was super productive in 2022. 1,443 yards, 14 touchdowns, 28 receptions, 271 receiving yards at age 20. And I think everybody, not just me, but a lot of people thought, man, this guy is going to be a real difference maker at the NFL. He's going to be a high draft pick. But then he was limited to just 6 games in 2023 as he dealt with a knee injury. And sure, the Chargers drafted Amarian Hampton, but the team has Najee Harris on a 1-year deal, and then after him, it's Hassan Haskins and Kamani Vidal as backups. It's not crazy to think that he could earn the RB3 job this year, and he ranked number 22 in PFF's rushing grade amongst all FBS running backs in 2024, 5 spots below Caleb Johnson and ahead of running backs that were drafted way ahead of him, well, because he wasn't drafted, in Woody Marks and Taj Brooks and DJ Giddens. I might have saved the best one for last. This is a guy that I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to get in every league if you want him, because he's going to be free, and that's Corey Kiner. The profile is a bit misleading. It's decent, the 4.57 40-yard dash, the 23 years old, right? He's a little bit older. He's not as fast as some of these other guys, but the college production was really, really good, especially in his last 2 years at Cincinnati. 1,047 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 1,153 yards. Now, the pass catching isn't quite there, but when I read you some of these stats, it is eye-opening. He was number 10 in PFF's rushing grade. He was number 2 amongst all FBS running backs in missed tackles forced with 82, tied with Cam Scatabo and only behind Ashton Genty, and he was number 19 in yards after contact per attempt. Okay, the situation, I get it. He might be a bit buried. He might not even make the team, but there is at least some uncertainty surrounding Christian McCaffrey's health, and behind McCaffrey, the depth chart is basically wide open. At least I would think so. Isaac Guerrero, they did draft Jordan James, Patrick Taylor Jr., Israel Manikonda, and Corey Kiner. I would think that that's pretty wide open in a Kyle Shanahan scheme, and I think it's absolutely possible he earns the RB3 job, and then you never know. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to click the like button if you liked it, subscribe to the channel if you want more of it, and until next time, be good everyone, and we will see you later.